Good afternoon and welcome everybody to this webinar. It is absolutely super to see you all coming online, and all I can say is happy Friday. It is Friday afternoon, so we've managed to get through the week, and whatever it is that you've got planned for the weekend, I hope that you're looking good and ready to go with all those plans. And we're going to spend just about an hour or so going through some tips and tricks for how you can get more done. And I'm well aware that everybody is sort of getting into exams at this time, certainly in universities, and I'm sure that we've got lots of people on the webinar today who are keen to, get some information about how they can achieve more and how they can do more and be successful in everything that they're doing. So just as everybody's coming online, just keen to see where everybody is from. So just mention on the chat. Hi Morley, hi there Mokundeleli, nice to have you on, and also exciting to spend this time with you guys. So which universities do we have on the webinar today? Just give us a sense of who we've got online so that we can see who's well represented. Also good to see that we've got quite a few, I think, coming through from Pretoria, coming through from University of Witwatersrand, which is my home ground, but have also lectured at University of Pretoria. So good to see that we've got a few there from University of Pretoria. So guys, yes, we are going to be just going through some tips and tricks, things that I've learned over the years of how to maximize the 24 hours. We all only have 24 hours in a day. So hi there, Laniel. Hi there, Gugu. Great to have you guys. And if you can maximize your 24 hours, if you can get more done in those 24 hours, then you're going to have an advantage, and that's going to be all the way through your life. It's important to build in some time to rest, but when you have time to work, you might as well use that time as productively as possible. So I spend a lot of time teaching and coaching people how to be successful with the time that they have available, and I'm going to take you through some of that content in the next 45 minutes. So guys, just by Robin, great to have you on board. Vitsi, lovely to have some Vitsis on board. And what you guys are looking at the moment on the left hand side there was my lockdown graduation at home. So I just got my PhD earlier in the year, and I spent 4 years looking forward to walking across the stage at Wits in the Great Hall. And of course, good old coronavirus, COVID-19 lockdowns hit, and so wasn't able to do that. But I think, like all of us and many more people, suffering a lot more and having a lot more difficulties this year than not being able to graduate in front of their family and colleagues. So I was not too disappointed. My family arranged something for me at home, which was very special indeed. But to those of you that have been hit by coronavirus this year, thoughts and best wishes to you, and you as you get through everything. And what I've said in the lead up to this webinar, and as we've been advertising it, is that at least if you can, finish the year strong, if you can get through your exams, make the best of it, end off, better than, we spent a lot of it with a huge amount of uncertainty and difficulty. And the encouraging thing for me is that you're here today and you're willing to take action. Hi, Christian. Good afternoon. Third year at Tux. Tandazile, Vitsi, Ntukumalo, Tux, Wits. So I think we've got Pretoria and Wits online today, which is fantastic. So we're going to get into a lot of great content just now, and just really want to encourage you guys to join these webinars. I think we're going to try and do them almost weekly now, and I think this time slot works very well for everybody. We all need to have lunch during the day, so if you're having a bite to eat or something to drink, always good to hop on and get some content and increase your productivity as well. And what I'd also like to know from you guys is what you would like to see in future webinars, what it is that you'd like to get as insights, and how can I help you achieve your goals, and what are those things that you want to get out of life. Is it are your goals more focused now at Wits or Pretoria to get through your studies, or is there something else that I can teach you? I've been in business for 20 years, and I have a lot of courses on different aspects of being successful in business, and I can help you guys, teach you anything of related to my own career, or We've done webinars on, positioning yourself for the workplace, boosting your career once you get out there, understanding what it's like to work in a team, understanding what the workplace is actually like and what it means to be out there. And I'm aware that some of you on the webinar today do have, experience in the workplace, and maybe you've gone back into part-time studies. So just pop on the chat there what your goals are and what you'd like to study. Work-life balance. So we are going to do a bit of that today, Cara. I was interviewing someone on my podcast earlier this morning, and she's just busy with her PhD, but she told me a story that in her master's, she had a 6-month-old baby, and she can clearly remember when she was rocking the baby in one arm and then typing with the other arm. And I said, okay, well, I presume that baby's now sort of a bit older, and maybe you've got a bit more independence, and you're a bit freer to do your PhD and manage that work-life balance. So she said to me, no, she had twins 6 months ago. So I said, okay, well, I don't know how you're going to rock twins and type at the same time. So she said, no, she's got somebody to help her so she can spend a couple of days during the week working on her PhD. Carmen wants to know how to move from the online learning to going back on campus. Very interesting, Carmen. And I think we've done a couple of webinars now on digital disruption. And, obviously we've had a lot of disruption this year from COVID, and digital has actually helped us. But previously we've seen digital as a more efficient, cost-effective way of doing things. And hopefully the future sees us taking the best of what we can use from digital, but then blending that with the best of what an on-campus life, offers us. And I think there you've got the interaction with other students and lecturers and mentors. You've got the interaction with each other. Christian, you are doing your honors next year. Not much time before I approach the world of work. CV presentation. Yes, so we had a webinar set up to go through CVs and job applications. Absolutely. I have a whole course on how to position yourself for the workplace and how to boost your career growth. And in that course, I take you through how to set up your LinkedIn profile, and I'll also teach you how to set up your CV on a tool called Nova Resume. And you may have a standard template that you use for CVs. I also teach you how to present yourself in interviews, what those interview tips and tricks are, Busasiwe. So I will provide you with the details of that in this webinar as well. But there's lots of material that you can go through to get some information there and to help you. Chopang financial planning. I can certainly give you some tips there. I don't have any content or courses on financial planning, but leave that with me, and I'll see if we can include that in a future webinar at some point. All right, so guys, just by way of introduction, you can see on the previous slide there that I teach on Udemy, and we've got the YouTube channel, and we've got the Facebook group. So please, guys, make sure that you hop over to the Facebook group and join us there. It's a members-only Facebook group, and it's a very vibrant, busy group where we all help each other and we learn from each other, and we'd be just thrilled to see you in that group and engaging. And a lot of people do ask me how best to get in touch with myself. I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I don't charge for it. I'm happy to do a 30-minute call initially with you, and we've had a few from these webinars, and happy to spend 30 minutes with you and just correct your course or give you some advice and some tips and tricks to go forward. And the Facebook group is the best place to pop on and get in touch with me and send me a message through Facebook, and then we can swap phone numbers, and we can do that 30-minute call or have a Zoom chat or whatever is most convenient for you. So please, guys, do hop onto that Facebook group there and join us and contribute, and that's where you'll have the latest announcements and updates and sort of day-to-day interaction that I think so many people find so valuable. The lady that I spoke to this morning on the podcast, she was just saying how PhD is a lonely journey, and she relishes that opportunity for community, even though everybody's doing different topics, and it's not always the case that you can talk to people about exactly what it is that you're studying, but at least being in the same boat with people and knowing what other people are going through is just such an encouraging and motivating thing. I think, for many people. So, Ogbu, just want to mention that you are in luck. I coincidentally launched a course this morning on writing proposals. So, Ogbu, it is your lucky day. I literally just got off Facebook and YouTube and my email list now, where I've popped out the link to that writing proposals course. And in this webinar, at the very end of it, I will provide you with an insight to that course. There's already a video live on the YouTube channel where you can go and see inside the course, and I teach you how to write your proposal, exactly what needs to go into it. I take you through my own proposal, and I even teach you some basic Microsoft PowerPoint skills so that you can present your proposal, and I give you my own proposal document and my own proposal slides for you to download and have a look at and get some inspiration from. So Ogbu, definitely lucky Friday for you. You hit the nail on the head, because I've been thinking about proposals for the last couple of weeks as I've been building out that course and then obviously launching it. But before we get into proposals, guys, I think we've got a healthy number of people on the webinar, which is absolutely fantastic. I think we've got Tux and Unisa postgrad. So we've got Pretoria, we've got Unisa, we've got Wits online today, guys. So these webinars are really proving very popular across a number of universities. So absolutely thrilled to have you guys on board today. So let's talk about working and studying smarter. And in my course, I talk about reaching this level of ninja productivity and how you get from where you are today to where you want to get to, and the goals that are going to bring you the satisfaction that you want in life. And what are the steps and tips and tricks that you need to apply day to day to use your time better, to maximize the 24 hours that you have, so that you can cram in all the expectations possibly that you put on yourself. I mean, let's face it, if we go back to study and take on part-time work and all the rest of it, these are all voluntary things, but we know we need to do them to get ahead in life, to get skills, to get additional qualifications. We know that we need to do that. So we know that if we're going to take on all of that extra work, we have to have the guidance and the support and the coaching to be successful. So in the course where I teach you how to achieve ninja level productivity, there's a couple of key principles and practices. And in the whiteboard lesson that you're looking at the moment, I take you through an overview. And what I love doing, and what my students really love, is that I break it down. And I give you everything on that whiteboard up front. And then you understand, you've got the lay of the land. You're sort of looking up from the mountain, and you can see the route that you need to go through the course. And then you can dive in and you can go and pick out whichever individual lessons are going to be interesting to you. But I always do say, very good idea to get the whole course, get a sense of all the value that you can get out of it. And because what I do in the course, obviously, is it creates a whole set of principles that are a lot more useful if they're all taken together. But equally, you may want to go in and do something specifically. And that whiteboard lesson right at the beginning of the course, which you're looking at the moment, will help you to do that. So there's about 6 lessons, 6 principles, and I'm going to take you through about 3 or 4 of them that are very much more specifically focused on yourselves as individuals. Some of them are a little bit more related to working in a team, but equally those are also important because you'll have syndicates, you'll have colleagues, you'll have students, and working in a team and achieving increased productivity is also important with other people. And I always say to people, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you've got to go together. But we're going to spend a bit more time in this webinar on the value for you as an individual. And maybe in a future webinar, we'll focus more on the team productivity aspects. So in the course, there's also a detailed worksheet that you can download and look at all the principles and practices that you've learned and make notes on those and tick them off as you apply them, and therefore learn them in your own life. So the first principle is what I learned from Sean Smith, who was out here in Johannesburg a couple of years ago, and he's written a book called I Will, and it's a surface code for a personal mission. And he actually teaches high school kids, and I've been to a lot of sessions at work and in team buildings, and this is the one that has stood out for me over all of the years of all the team building and sort of conceptual approaches to having a personal mission statement, etc. This is the simplest one, and I think the reason that it stood out for me is it comes from a very personal experience that he had of actually losing his son when his son was 15, and he went through a very traumatic time as an individual. And I think we can all relate to people that have been through tough times in their life, and when that emotion comes through in what they teach you, I think it's just incredibly powerful. So he teaches corporates and high school students and varsity students like ourselves about how to set up a personal code statement. And it's really just a set of statements that says, I will. And I mean, there's really nothing scientific about it. And in my corporate context, and if you go through a couple of my courses, I talk about a lot of the politics that happens in the corporate world. And for me, when I did that course, I was having some challenges, and one of the statements that I wrote down, and this is the crux of it, is to write down these statements. I will do the following. And he's a surfer. So in the book, he talks about how when he goes out surfing and into the breakers, and he gets tumbled in the breakers, he says, I will always paddle back out. And I'll put a link to my article that I wrote, which is a review of the book. And sometimes, at work, I can have a difficult day, and there's a lot of politics, and I lose confidence because of those politics and those issues. And you will also have the same challenges. And it might be that you just need to get through these exams, or you need to get through your honors, or you need to get through the exam that you've got on Monday, or you need to get the assignment completed to hand in a certain period of time. And so you write these statements down. I will do the following. I will do the following. I will do the following. And I think if you read the article and you read up about this gentleman and you write down these statements for yourself in the context of where he came from and how I've applied it in my own life, there is nothing scientific about it, but the power of doing it I have found for myself incredibly valuable. And what you'll see there on the screen on the bottom left is, and I talk about these lessons in literally, a very short space of time, so you can go through them fairly quickly. My personal mission statement was that I will see myself through the eyes of my children. And, it's tempting to, when you've got politics and issues that you're dealing with, it's tempting to then see yourself through the eyes of people who want to put you down, who want to challenge you, who want they don't like your success, for example. And yet, if you've got children, or if you in your broader extended family, you have younger children, younger children always have that innocence, and they look up to their parents or to their relatives or their uncles or their aunts, and they just have this constant admiration for older people around them. And so that just helped me get the confidence that I needed when I had a personal mission statement that I will always see myself through the eyes of my children. And, that's something that from all the team building and all of these types of sessions that I've been through over the years, this is the one thing, that always stood out for me. So a surface code for a personal mission: keep it simple with your stated intentions to drive powerful personal change. And keep it meaningful when you need a personal breakthrough for survival. And I think 2020 has been just such a tough year for all of us. We all need a personal breakthrough in some shape or form, even just to get through life. Never mind now to try and get through exams. So I want you, after today, as an action from this webinar, to go and write down, and in the book he says not more than 12, but at least 2 or 3 personal mission statements, and each of them must start with I will. And I take you through this assignment in the course as well. But even if you don't do the course, just take this one tip away from this webinar. Go and write down a few I will statements and see the power that you can achieve and the value that you can gain from doing that. And link it to something practical. Link it to your exams. Link it to your assignment that you've got to hand in next week. Link it to the exam that you've got coming up next week. I will get through that exam. I will get through that assignment. Don't set yourself a high level goal that you're going to be too stressed out to achieve. Like, I will get 95% for this exam. I will get through it. I will survive. I will get through 2020. I will successfully complete my proposal, Ogbu. And hopefully if you do the course that I'm going to offer you at the end of this webinar, you've got a better chance of achieving that. But make those statements that you can actually practically do. And I absolutely believe 100% that all of you on the webinar today are at excellent universities, and I hope that you have enough support around you that you will be able to get through these exams. So the first thing that I wanted to give you today was just some encouragement. I believe in each and every one of you. We've got 100 people online at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic. A blend of Wits and Takis and Unisa. So I will personally commit to providing you with the best possible materials and courses to help you get through what you want. But I need you to write down your personal I will statements. All right, so just make a note of that one simple action that you're going to take from this webinar, and maybe let's ask you guys to put it on the chat if you're willing to share. I've shared you with my I will statement today, and you'll see it in the course, and I'll talk about it more meaningfully in there as well. But let's see if any of you can put your I will statement in the chat and make it just practical. If you've got an exam next week, I will get through my physics exam. I will get through my philosophy exam. It's just a simple statement to drive personal and powerful change. And if you say it now on the group with all of us, you've locked it in, and that is your commitment to all of us. So guys, pop that. I will graduate with cum laude for my honors. Cara, I believe in you. I believe that you will graduate with cum laude for your honors. Go for it. And we hope to see you in the Facebook group, and we hope to encourage you. And when you are standing there in your gown and you've achieved that objective, we are all going to celebrate that incredible success. Now, maybe I can just tell you a very quick story about my cum laude, Cara. And once again, this is to encourage you, but it's also to bring an element of personal reality and meaning into this webinar. I'm not just some guy on the internet. Lanil, I will get through my physics semester test. So fantastic that I hit the nail on the head with the physics example. But I just want to tell Cara and all of you a story about my cum laude. I did engineering, and I also had this simple goal that I wanted to achieve a cum laude. And in engineering, to achieve cum laude, you have to get above 75% for 3 of your 4 years of study, including your 4th year. So everybody knows that the engineering degree is the toughest in the 3rd year. And so no one gets 75% in their 3rd year. So you go in to plan for 1st, 2nd, and 4th year above 75%, and then you'll get your cum laude degree. Okay, so 1st year done. 2nd year, I'm writing my maths paper. If those of you at Wits know Hall 29 down at the bottom there, okay, and thanks for all the I will statements coming through. These are absolutely fantastic, guys. I'm sitting in Hall 29 writing my maths exam, and if you know maths, I had studied Fourier transforms the night before, and I'm flicking through my exam, and I think, oh, there's no Fourier transforms. That's weird. And I finished really early, and I'm sitting there, done. And 5 minutes before the exam is up for everybody, I realize I've skipped the last page of the exam, and there's a Fourier transform question on the back there for about 20% of the paper. Now, it was my last maths paper for the year. It carried a huge amount of weighting, and I had just completely omitted 20% of it, and I managed to scribble down a few bits and pieces. But I went home and I was devastated because I knew that my 2nd year 75% average was out the window. But guys, this was how bad it was. I didn't just miss my 75%. I missed it by 0.1%. So my average for my 2nd year engineering was 74.4%. Okay? And they would not put it up because it it rounded down to 74%, right? So I didn't get my 75% average in my second year. And I was bitterly disappointed. But I stepped back, I took stock of it, and I decided I will have to get 75% average in my third year. And I did get it, but it was tough, and I was one of the few people that did it in the third year, and then I got it in the fourth year, and I got my cum laude. So Kara, Demura, good luck. I don't know what stage you're at in your studies, but I believe that you're going to get your cum laude, and that's coming from a personal journey of difficulty and frustration with regards to, at one point, thinking that I'd thrown away my cum laude, not because it was too hard, but because I had stupidly missed the last page of the exam. So I wasn't planning to talk about this in the webinar today, but guys, check that you've read every page of your exams. Make sure that you answer everything, because if you just leave a question out and you don't try it, if you know Wayne Gretzky is a famous ice hockey player in America, and he said you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So Mukundaleli, thank you. And I just had no idea I was going to tell the story today, but seeing that I will statement there from Kara inspired me to share that and be open and honest with you. And all my courses, I put my heart and soul into it, and hopefully that comes through in my courses. I'm not just some guy on the internet. I'm a real person that in my third year or second year, I sat in Hall 29, devastated that I'd just thrown away my cum laude engineering degree, but I was able to come back from that frustration and get my cum laude. And you'll be able to come back from any frustration that you've had this year. You'll be able to come back from any difficulties that you've had. You will be able to overcome the difficulties that are in front of you. And Hlengi, you're going to get through your cognitive psychology exam and get a distinction. Bongumusa, you are going to get through your exams. Robin Callow, you're going to take care of your mental health during the exam period. Excellent, excellent I will statement. Tandazile, I'm going to set academic goals. I'm doing a Bachelor of Education, and for me to get cum laude, I have to get 75% average for my third and fourth year. Tandazile, just go for it. Just do whatever you have to do to get that goal. Manage the boundaries in your life. When you look back, it's going to be worth it. And for all of you studying now, and for all of these wonderful I will statements that are coming through, I want to wish you absolutely everything of the best. Busasiwe says, I will submit both assignments due on the same day on time. Now, Busasiwe, this links to the next tip, which is to burn your boats. Now, when you make an I will statement, firstly, it's for yourself. But if you make an I will statement in public, you're burning your boats. So you're committing to somebody. And it's as simple as saying, if I want to get fit, I need to go to the gym. So I'm going to meet somebody there, and I'm going to have an accountability partner. And I'm going to burn my boats by saying to them, I will meet you there at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And you've effectively burnt your boats. And that's what I teach in the course, is that if you have a big, scary goal ahead, you need to burn your boats. So yes, you've got your I will statements, and you can keep those private, and those are for you, and that embeds the personal mission for yourself that you're going to achieve. But if you then publicly declare them, you're burning your boats, because you've communicated with somebody else something that you're going to do, and in the right setting and with the right people, it creates a level of accountability for you to go and achieve that goal. Okay. Now, we've had a couple of people say they're going to pass their modules or submit their assignments. So the person that said, Busasiwe, you're going to submit your assignments, that is within your control. What mark you get for those assignments is going to be a function of how well you've studied, etc. But saying you're going to go to the gym at a certain time, saying you're going to get your assignment done, saying that you're going to wake up and meet somebody at the gym at a certain time, promising your child that you're going to pick them up at a certain time after school, or committing to getting your PhD. It doesn't matter what the size of the goal is. The story about burn your boats comes from a Spanish naval commander. And when they landed on the beaches, and you can imagine all these ships, if you've watched Viking movies, I think there's a great Viking series on Netflix, and they land if they land on the island, they will then they have to conquer the island. And what the Spanish naval commander said to everybody was that they must burn their boats. And they literally did burn their boats. So once they burnt their boats, there was actually no way that that they could leave the island again. So they'd literally arrived there with all their boats, and yeah, thanks guys. Yes, it's a great story, but you can imagine there's a picture. They've literally burned their boats. They cannot sail away from the island. They have to conquer the island. Their mindset is now to move forward and to achieve what it is that they want to achieve from the goal that they have set themselves. So just like you make a goal or you commit to somebody to being at the gym, because you've now burnt your boats, you're not going to back out from it. Just like these naval commanders said to their people, burn the boats when they landed on the island, so too they had to conquer the island because they had no boats left. They had no boats left to leave the island. And in the course, I tell you again another personal story of when I burnt my boats. And I have been in IT, in technology. Christian asked, does the burning of boats relate to eliminating escape routes? Absolutely. So you'll see there, lesson number 7 in the course, it takes away your plan B. So your plan B is, well, if I don't submit my assignment on Monday when it's due, I can always submit it on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, or if I don't get cum laude, then I'll get another, something lower than that, for example. So those are your escape routes out of that single goal that you've set yourself to achieve. If I don't go to gym tomorrow, I'll go to gym the next day. So Christian talks about escape routes, and that's exactly what burning your boats is all about, is it eliminates your escape routes. So my personal story, at work, I was leading an IT team, and we would build software for HR. And we had a town hall in August the one year, and we stood up in front of about 100 people, and we had everybody that worked in HR. And one of the systems was a system that supports the call center. So in a large organization, you'll phone through to get help with your pay slip or with your leave or with your information that you have on the payroll, etc. And so we had a large call center that would support all of the employees. And in that call center, there was a system that was used for workflow and for handling all these cases and these queries that were coming in from employees. And this system had been a massive frustration for the people that worked in this call center. And I it had been put on my scorecard to replace the system and put something in that was better than what we had at the moment. And at the town hall, there's 100 people in the room. And I tell the story in the course. Somebody stood up when we were up on the stage, and we were, as a management team, answering questions, and they said, when are we going to have a better workflow system? And my boss passed me the microphone, and I distinctly remember that I stood up and I walked to the front of the stage, and something psychologically in my mind knew that the only way we were going to achieve this was if I burnt my boats. So I stood up there and I said, we will put a new system in by November of this year. And that was in 4 months' time. And my team looked at me and they thought I was crazy. And I made that commitment, and I said, I've promised this to you. My boss is here. There's 100 people in the room. We are going to do this. And when we left that town hall, we got to work to deliver that system and implement that to improve these people's lives. And we got it in November. Okay? And one of the big reasons for that, obviously, there was a lot of work that had to go in, a whole team that I was working with at the time. But I believe strongly that one of the big reasons for achieving that deadline was that I'd burnt my boats in front of a large group of people. So I tell that story in the course, and what I want you guys to do is I want you to find somebody that you're willing to be accountable to, and hopefully if you've got colleagues or classmates or a syndicate group that you're working with or a friend, just WhatsApp them after this webinar and just say, hey, listen, I just want to commit something to you. I want to burn my boats with you and if you've got colleagues, if you're working in a group potentially and you want to commit to each other, that's also going to work well, or with a sibling or somebody else in your family, just burn your boats and make sure that you have no delay. And but to see where you're absolutely right. And she asked the question, what if you're unable to meet this commitment? Now, I do believe that you have to be a little bit sensible. And in the example that I told, in the back of my mind, I knew it was possible. But what very happens with IT projects, which is where I've spent most of my career, you think you can do something, but then you want to hedge your bets, and then you want to, just go a little bit slower and allow, and manage risks and all the rest of it. And I often feel that as a leader, one has to be a lot more decisive than just letting things happen. So in my mind, I knew that it was possible, but it could easily be delayed to next year. And I could have stood up there and said February, March, April, the next year, whatever. And we would have achieved those as well. But the stretch target that had the most impact for everybody on that day, which I also believed was possible before I made that statement, was to do it within 4 months. So there are going to be times when you make a commitment, and you shouldn't commit to everything in your life. You shouldn't commit to saying, I'm going to do something that you know that it is literally going to be impossible to achieve. But I do believe that you should commit to something that the only difference is going to be a little bit of personal stretch, a little bit of personal sacrifice, a little bit of additional personal commitment, maybe a little bit less sleep. But when I left that town hall, my whole mind was focused on that goal. And if you can pick the right goal and the right timing and the right person to hold you accountable, then the gap that you need to close in terms of that commitment, in terms of that sacrifice, in terms of that extra effort that you have to put in, will be much easier to close. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my boss asked me for something, and he said, when can you get it to me? I'd like it by the end of the week. And I thought to myself, well, if I focus on this, I can get it done today. And that would be it would impress him. It would be a good outcome. Quite easily have done. I just did it that day, which was useful, was valuable, and it just was that extra stretch target that made all the difference. Okay, so don't overcommit yourself. Don't push yourself unnecessarily. Choose goals, choose I will statements that are meaningful and practical, but which will still require you just to take a little bit of extra steps, a little bit of extra commitment, a little bit of extra sacrifice. And also what it does is when you choose those things that you're going to burn your boats, it clears the decks. Okay? It clears all of the other stuff that you have to do in your life. It clears out all of those other goals and all of the other sort of clutter in your life of the things that you have to do. Now, let's then look at time. And in the course, I talk quite a little bit about maximizing your time. And this principle of the power of 10 minutes is one that I wrote up quite a few years ago, but throughout the years, I even got a WhatsApp from somebody the other day who said they had organized their workspace and in 10 minutes had maximized the time that they had available to do that. And what I teach in the course and what I want you guys to take away from this webinar is that we very rarely have long stretches of time. I was interviewing somebody on the podcast a couple of days ago actually, and they said they like to wake up early on a Saturday morning and spend a good few hours getting some in-depth studying done, and that's fantastic. And she can find that time once during the week. Otherwise, she's got family and work commitments, and she's extremely busy. And like most of us that have busy lives, we are not often going to be able to find 2 or 3 hours to spend doing something. Now, if you've got exams coming up, I would advise that you do carve out that time and you do prioritize your time, because you're only going to be able to study effectively for your exams if you make sure you've got those 2 or 3 hour blocks. So you need to organize yourself effectively to be able to do that. But in the general course of your life, when you are balancing 10 things at once, you're only ever going to have snatches of 10 minutes. And what I teach in the course is for you to maximize those 10 minutes and ensure that those 10 minutes are powerful. You actually need to anticipate them. And if you spend 2 or 3 minutes looking for an email or trying to find a piece of paper on your desk, I do woodworking. If I go into my workshop and I can't find my hammer, or I can't find my saw, or I can't find the tools that I need, even though I've got 10 minutes quickly to do a job, I've actually wasted half of that 10 minutes by getting ready for the job. And what we call this is context switching. So when you switch context and you've got 10 minutes to do something, and then 10 minutes to do something, and then 10 minutes to do something, and for those of us that have a lot of things happening in our lives, if you can't maximize each of those 10 minutes effectively, then you've wasted the time that you had for that. And it's really just about getting organized and making sure that when you come to those 10 minutes in my workshop, I know exactly where things are, and the 10 minutes is literally maximized. I have the full power of the 10 minutes available to me to do what I need. And the other important aspect of this principle of the power of 10 minutes is that if you string a lot of 10 minutes together, you actually get those 2 or 3 hours. So if each of those 10 minutes is maximized, and you can pick up where you left off from the previous 10 minutes very effectively, and you put multiple 10 minutes together, you build up the 2 or 3 hours that you don't have to sit down and do something in one go. And what that is the power of managing longer tasks in short bursts, but which you can't put together in one go. And there's going to be different approaches for different people to do that. And if you go through the course, I'll give you an assignment to practice that and to get the benefit from the principle of 10 minutes. And then the last principle, and really it's a very detailed, practical level of how to get more done and to be successful as a student. And if you've got exams coming up, this I think is going to be incredibly useful for you. And I'm, as much as I'm highly digitized, and I just want to show you guys, I've got 2 notebooks on my desk here. I've got one for personal, I've got one for work. And what I teach in the course is actually my practical approach for managing those tasks in your notebook. So what I do, and I literally explain this in the course, but I'm going to tell it to you right now, and I've been doing this for 20 years. At the beginning of the line, I write a box. I literally draw a box, and then I'd write out the task that I need to do, and then when I look at my notebook, I can quickly distinguish between general notes that I might need to take in a meeting, or you might need to take in a lecture, for example, and I can quickly scan down that page and see which are the tasks. Because when you use a notebook, it's also for taking notes. But if you don't distinguish the actions clearly from your notes, how do you know when you go back to those notes what it is that you need to do? So the act of note-taking is very important because it helps you retain that knowledge. And as students going to lectures and preparing for exams, you have to get a lot of information, and you have to be able to study that, and you have to be able to answer the exam questions. But in all of that, there's going to be tasks coming at you. There's going to be stuff that you need to do. And maybe in a lecture, you have to make a note that you need to read a certain book, or you have to complete your assignment, and like Mr. Siwe said earlier, complete this assignment. Or maybe there's 5 or 6 actions that you have to do to complete a bigger task, for example. So the practical outcome that I want you guys to take away from your webinar, from this webinar today, and maybe in your notebooks this is something you can do straight after this webinar, is to do what I do. And I'm just going to show you quickly. So if you look at my notebook, and this is literally today, that was open on my desk today, you can see down here the boxes, okay? And then there's the tasks over there. And I can very quickly then distinguish between general notes and the tasks that I need to do. Now, obviously you need to do the tasks. Once I do the task, I tick that box. Okay, and it's good old-fashioned tick a box. You know that the task is done. But there's often tasks that aren't completely finished. And then you might need to go back to it. You might need to check it. Maybe it's a task and then somebody else has to do something before that task is finished. And if you're working in syndicate groups and you've got something with your supervisor or your lecturer or a colleague of yours that needs to help you, etc., you just need to be careful that tasks often come back to life. But when it's done, okay, and done, that you don't have to do anything else, I draw a line through that task. And I can then clearly see it's got a tick and it's got a line through that task. So I don't have to do anything else with it. And I don't know if you also saw just now, but at the bottom over here, what I also do is I highlight critical tasks. So you can see there that I've highlighted a critical task. And that's really just to help you when you're scanning through your notebook and looking back over things that you need to do. Highlight the ones that stand out. Have the boxes so you know what the actions are. Use that system of ticking off so you know you've done the task, but then put a line through it and you know that it is absolutely 100% complete. So I'll take you through all of that in the course, but you've hopefully got some value from it today. You can either look at this webinar again, and I think somebody asked a question on the chat if it will be available. It most certainly will be available. So you can go back and watch this webinar. You can go into the course. I'm going to give you free access to the course in this webinar now, and I'll put the link up on the chat just now. Okay, so I've given you a couple of assignments to take action and to apply some of those tips and tricks today, which hopefully will just increase your productivity, increase your personal connection, either by making an I will statement. And those of you that have put I will statements on the chat today, that psychologically, just that simple act of doing that has also burnt your boats. It's also created a sense of accountability for you to focus in on those and go and get those things done. And I would absolutely love it if you come into our members only Facebook group and you interact with us, and we do a lot more of that where I challenge people. What are your goals? What are your tasks today? And it's very practical. I always give the advice, never take on or commit to something too big. Any big project is going to consist of smaller tasks anyway. So commit to the smaller tasks that build up to the bigger thing. What I did in my example of committing to an entire IT system, maybe that was a bit silly. Maybe that was a bit too big. And we were lucky. But I had a sense that I could achieve it. So commit to things that you know you can achieve, but that you're just a little bit worried that you don't have what it takes, that you haven't quite mentally decided to sacrifice what you need to get that thing done. If you burn your boats with a meaningful I will statement, you're going to get it done. And then to get it done, make sure you maximize the power of your 10 minutes. Make sure you get yourself organized. Make sure that in your notebook, whether it's electronically or physically, you've got a system whereby you manage your tasks. And I've explained the one that I used today. So the course is called Reach Ninja Level Productivity, and I'm going to give that to you guys right away so that you can go in there and you can get all the benefit from it. And that access is going to be available to you guys for 3 days to enroll. Once you've gone in there and you've enrolled, then you'll have access to the course forever. And we can interact, and I'll be adding new courses on there. I'll be adding assignments and quizzes and new material, and you'll be able to see other students and what they've done inside the course and get the benefit from that forever. You'll always have access to that course once you've enrolled in there, which you can do for free in the next 3 days. So Bruce, to answer your question, free access on that link. All that I ask you guys, Delia, it's an absolute pleasure. All that I do ask you guys is to leave an honest rating and review on the course. And what that does is it obviously helps me improve future courses. It helps me understand what you guys want to learn and hear about in these webinars. And that just makes me a better student success coach. So that link that I provided you there for the productivity course is absolutely free for you to go in and enroll. And once you've enrolled, you'll have access to that course forever. and all the updates and the announcements, and I'm constantly updating all my courses. So you'll see an announcements page in there, and I'll post any updates that I do. Make sure you switch on your email notifications, please. And very importantly, guys, if you successfully get your degree and your cum laude, you've achieved all those wonderful goals, and you get a new email address, please make sure that you get in touch with me again. And that's why Facebook is great, because it's going to, even if your email address changes, make sure that you update that. Fatima, absolute pleasure for the webinar. And we're not finished, because I hope Ogbar is still online, because I'm going to take you through now very quickly the other course that I launched this morning. Now, I'm well aware that some of you are maybe not at that stage where you're doing proposals for research, etc. But it does look like quite a few of you from the chat today are going to be going on and doing honors, or will have research modules coming up in future degrees and work that you're going to be doing. So to get through a research degree or a research component in a qualification, you're most probably going to have to do a proposal of sorts. And this is what the gentleman earlier, Ogbar, was saying. He needs to get a proposal done, and that was his I will statement, is I need to get my proposal done, or it was his goal, I can't quite remember. And then coincidentally what I said is that I've just this morning, literally, and one of the notes in my notebook was to launch this course. And I thought, well, I'll just add it into the webinar if it's useful for you. So that's what I've done today. Cara, absolute pleasure. Look forward to seeing you inside the course. So as soon as you go inside the course, I get a notification. I'm available online. I answer questions in real time. You can interact with your other students. If you've been on Udemy, you'll know exactly how it works. If you've never set yourself up on Udemy, it's a fantastic platform. There's some really great courses. And of course, just like any marketplace of content, it's all got the ratings and the reviews, which help you see, the good quality courses and instructors that you can then, invest your time and money with, or get access to if you've got access, and you are able to take up those courses at a discount or even for free. And that's what I will always provide you guys with through these webinars. So what I'm showing you just now is a bit of the feedback that you can see on the course. So when you go and hit that course landing page with that link, you'll be able to see the reviews. So I've put a couple of those up on the screen there today, and you can see how I respond to those and how I use that feedback. And of course, I don't always get 5 stars. Some students aren't very happy with me, and so I try and improve and respond to student feedback as best as I can. So do have a look at all the feedback there, and do so for any of my other courses, before you make a decision to enroll in a course. But now, and I hope the gentleman is still online, can you just tell me, Ogbar, if you are still online? You were looking for a proposal, you were looking for help to write a proposal. I'm just scrolling back through the chat. If you could just let us know, the gentleman earlier, that you're still online, and that this course might potentially be useful for you. And I'm pretty certain that all of you, or many of you at some point, if you're going to continue with postgraduate level studies, maybe go on to a PhD, or if you are busy with one or just registered for one, you're going to have to do a proposal. And okay, Ogbu, fantastic. Okay, this is for you. And I said it's your lucky day. I'm glad that you're online. Ogbu, I'm going to give you access to this course now, and I'm so excited to see your response to it, and I commit to you that I will update it if it doesn't give you value, and if you don't get your proposal submitted and successful, I will update it. so Ogbu, I'm going to commit to you. I burnt my boats today. If you don't get a successful proposal, everybody in this webinar, hold me accountable to that, and then I'll go and fix it and help you get through it successfully. So you can see what you get there. There's 3 hours. I teach from a whiteboard. Like I'm teaching now. There's downloadable resources. I provide my own PhD proposal. I teach you how to present it. I teach you how to put in there and write down the what you're going to study, why you're going to study, and how you're going to study it. And those are the 3 main things that is going to give you 80% of what you need to put in your proposal. Ogbu, it's absolutely a pleasure. I'm a real person. I create this content through my own personal experience. I try and give back as much as I can. I had support and commitment to me when I was a student, and I enjoy helping other students be successful. And we need you all to be successful. The world needs you to get out there, to make a contribution, to solve the big problems that we have. You're all doing different fields, from physics to education to engineering, or all the other faculties that we have on our campuses and our universities, of which Wits, Pretoria, and Tukkies are, and UNISA are world renowned. So you're in there. You've obviously got the support you need. We need you. The world needs you to be successful. The world needs you to get out there and solve the big problems that we have. That there is absolutely no question about it. So what you'll learn in this course, and Ogbu and Christian's talking about a mock proposal to prepare for our honors assignment, where we would actually have to get prepared. Okay, so Christian, in the course that I'm putting up on the screen now, I've got assignments for each of the lesson, and at the end of the lessons, I get you to go and start filling in the outline of your proposal. So it'll fit very much with that mock proposal. It just gets you to structure the outline of your proposal and the key things, and I'll be able to give you feedback on that proposal as well. So there's lots in there that you guys can go and learn and take away. And I'm going to give you that link now. It costs you absolutely nothing. All I'm asking for is that you will leave an honest rating and a review on the course, and you are more than welcome to share this link. So if you know of people that are doing proposals and need some help to complete that and be successful in getting their study approved, then please do pass it on to them. And guys, before you leave the webinar today, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I leave tips on there absolutely every single day. There's a little bit of a premiere of the proposals course, which I launched today, and you can go back through some of the other videos. I was doing a video the other day on how to avoid plagiarism, for example. I teach improvement in academic writing practices on there. I talk about the value and the importance of getting enough sleep, how to be motivated, how to finish 2020 strong. The introductory video for the YouTube channel, I think, gives you a bit of an overview of some of the other courses. So please browse through those videos, have a look at which ones are going to give you some value, but most importantly, subscribe on there, and then you'll get the notification of new videos that I provide you. And through those videos, you'll get the links and the updates to additional courses, etc., and more content that I'm creating for you guys. So hopefully that was useful for you guys. If you can give me a little bit of feedback in the chat, I would really appreciate it. Just pop a goodbye on the chat would be great, and let me know if that was useful for this afternoon. But by the looks of it, it seems like everybody was engaged and hopefully got some value from it. And what I really want you guys now is to go and take action. Burn your boats with somebody, obviously with a meaningful goal that you think you can achieve, but you just need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a push. You need just to commit to somebody to do something. Then if you've got a spare 10 minutes that you want to do a task, make sure that you anticipate that 10 minutes and you're not looking for something to complete the task during those precious 10 minutes. Use that principle of the power of 10 minutes. Cara, looking forward to the next webinar as well. My commitment to you guys today is we're going to do this again. There's no question about it. So sort of Friday lunchtime, I think, is going to work well and for you guys, and we can make sure that these are sent out to you through Wits and Tukkies and UNISA. I think we had on the call today as well. So I'll make sure that these hopefully get out to you guys. But definitely check the Facebook group, and that's where you're going to get updates and the links to future webinars. But let's do this again at 12 o'clock next Friday. I commit. I will set up another webinar for us 12 o'clock next Friday, same time, same place. I will also share the link to the YouTube channel. I'll put that on there as well, so that you guys can get access to it and go and subscribe there. But if you are on this webinar, then you are on the YouTube channel, but I'll put it there for you as well. And guys, good luck to all of you with your I will statements. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing this time with you today, and I wish you good luck in your exams. I've been there when I teach my courses, I've done exactly what you are and what you've been through. So just good luck. I'll catch up again with you guys next week, Friday at 12 o'clock. Continue to just focus on what you need to do, and maybe next week you can give us some feedback on how the week went and how you were able to get those assignments done, get the studying done, and get the focus that you need in your study. So good luck and thank you guys. We're going to end the webinar now. So goodbye, and you can always come back to the same link and view the webinar again. Absolutely no problem. So cheers everybody, and thanks very much. Good luck.